Right, I'm just going to be back in 2 minutes, then we're going to start.
He said he was going to go fix his hair for 5 minutes 20 minutes ago, so we might be here a while.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of work to do, everybody, so hang tight.
Powder his nose.
He's going to powder his nose, then powder his head.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lightbringers. This is a Guild Wars 2 podcast. I hope you're well. It's been a while. And today we're going to be talking about a fair few things. We're going to be talking about guilds. We're going to be talking about expansions. We're going to be talking about Steam. And I have some amazing and awesome epic guests with me as well. They're going to be here to talk about it with me. You can see them on your screen. If you're watching on YouTube or Twitch Live, which is where we're doing this live, and you're listening on whatever place you may be listening to the podcast, I hope you're well, I hope you're safe, I hope you're good. But yeah, I've got Birdofchess, Mukluk, and Mmoinks. This is a star lineup if ever I've seen one. They're waving as well, just in case you don't know that. I mean, you're listening. It's okay. If you want to go watch the VOD, you can do that. Click in the description. You can go and look at the VOD, and you can see them waving. Otherwise, you know.
That's the big draw.
Yeah, it is the big draw, yeah.
Look, we've been polishing these waves all before we went live, before the recording started. So definitely check them out. That's really the core content of today's podcast.
Our faces and haircuts and the conversations we have before the stream, which, you know, cheese and milk and loads of stuff. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Okay. Right, Birdofchess, hello, how are you? What do you do? Where'd you come from? You don't need to tell us where you come from, unless you want to.
I was born in a big town. No, hey, everybody.
Got 2 hours.
Hey, everyone. My name is Rook. You can catch me over at twitch.tv Birdofchess. It is a bit of a play off of Rook since it's both a bird and a type of chess piece. While unfortunately, I don't actually know how to play chess, I do play a fair amount of MMOs, so I am an MMO variety streamer. You can mostly catch me doing Guild Wars 2. I'm an ArenaNet partner and Final Fantasy 14. You can also catch me on podcasts like this, but also regularly over on Aetheryte Radio with Gamer Escape, which is their Final Fantasy 14 podcast. I'm expanding out into YouTube right now, so keep an eye on that. But you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Birdofchess as well. I'm all about being passionate, unashamedly so, about the games that we love and creating a supportive, positive space on the internet that accepts criticism, critique, and discussion, but that also, I think, focuses on the things we really love about games and encourages a lot of us to spread that to other people. So that's me.
Damn.
Oh, man. I hope Inks is going next. That's going to be hard to follow.
I mean, damn. You want to just do the intro to the show next time? That was good stuff.
No, I'll leave that
to them. YouTube as well. Holy shit. Good luck with that.
Jebro, I think you're the guest now.
I am. I'm done.
No,
I'm going to go.
No.
This cute quaggan will now be me.
The quaggan is
nice to see. She's similar haircut. Thank you very much for being here yet again. Appreciate it very much.
Of course. Thanks for having me back.
Awesome. Mukluk is new to the podcast. How you doing, sir? You good?
I'm good. How are you, Jebro?
Yeah, I'm all right. You know, I mean, I just finished uni for the first year, my first year of grad school, so I'm pretty happy about that. Pretty damn happy about that. This is why I'm like able to do the podcast again, because I'm not busy as that word. But do you want to tell us about? I've already failed with the swearing. Literally, I told these guys, yeah, you know, I don't like to swear too much. Like literally 5 minutes, 2 minutes in, I say shit. So I've already screwed that up.
You didn't do it. It didn't. The curse word did not leave your lips, so we're still golden in my
very smooth recovery.
I already said one. It's okay. Mukluk, what do you do? What do you do on the interwebs? Tell us.
It's hard to follow Rook, but I'll try. I am Mukluk Douglas Bartholomew Reginald Esquire the Fourth, and I am a Twitcher, as my son would say, as well as YouTuber. So twitch.tv/Mukluk, or Mukluk YouTube is the name of the YouTube channel. Mostly known for Guild Wars 2 guides across all topics of the game. That's where I think I've got most of my audience. I think that's where I've hooked most of them. And then on stream I sing and dance and try to be as entertaining as possible. I don't have the long list of things like she does, so Hopefully those two are enough.
That was a very good list.
It was a very good list indeed. Agreed. Agreed indeed.
Also, I'm seeing in the chat here, and did I maybe just miss it? Is your birthday today?
3 days ago, on Sunday, I had a birthday stream.
Happy birthday!
Happy
Thank you very
birthday,
much.
man.
Thank you.
Was that the 23rd?
Yes, it is, Inks. I believe we share one.
Yeah, my birthday.
Oh, it's your birthday as well.
Yeah.
Hey, happy
Wow.
double
World.
birthday!
Oh, it's the Inks and Mukluk birthday stream. That's so cute. Amazing. Well, happy birthday to you both.
We'll get
Have you
a
got many-
Quaggan-shaped cake and cut it to bits.
Did you get a Quaggan-shaped cake?
No, I'm saying we should, just for me and Inks.
Oh, damn it. I was like, you guys are living the dream and my life sucks. I was like, damn. Okay, fine. Well, follow Mukluk as well on all the things. All the information will be in the description as well for all of these guys. And Inks, how are you doing, my friend? It's good to see you, and hopefully we get to have you here for the entire period this time.
Yeah, that was geez, the last time we did this, I ended up getting
ago.
really sick. So
Yes.
let's hope for not a repeat performance, because that was terrible.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I hope you're much better now.
Yeah, no, I've been good.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
no complaints. I haven't really been working on anything.
Okay.
I stream occasionally on Twitch
Mhm.
at Mmoinks, and occasional YouTube video on youtube.com/Mmoinks.
Awesome. And if you're in chat and Twitch right now, you can do !TLB. And you can find all the links for the people. If you are on YouTube and all the other places, you can find the links in the description for all these guys' Twitch channels. And I appreciate if you can go and chat them a follow very much. They're very awesome creators in their own right, and they do many different things, which are awesome. Hence why they're here. So, we talk about things a lot on this podcast. Sometimes on topic, sometimes off topic. Many topics are had. My original topic was going to be guilds, and where is the guild in Guild Wars 2 was actually going to be the title of this podcast, because I think a lot of people do ask that question a lot. But then yesterday, during guild chat, during the 25th of August 2020, the anniversary of the launch, the 8th anniversary of the launch of Guild Wars 2. There was a guild chat, and they basically just dropped a ton of information. So I was like, well, we should probably talk about that, 'cause it's kind of important. So I think the first one of the first major things was that Guild Wars 2 is coming to Steam in November. Steam. It's available on another launcher. It's available somewhere else where lots of people can type in free MMORPG into the search and be like, there's Guild Wars 2. Maybe. Well, partly. That could be an interesting how they manage that whole thing. Did you guys watch Guild Chat yesterday? Was it during your streams, or was it like just kind of catch you later, or people coming into your chat like in mine while I was streaming New World and just saying, guys, there's stuff happening, and I was just like, shut the I want to watch it. Right?
It was much earlier than my stream, but I did watch the whole thing.
You did watch it. What did you think about the Steam announcement, Mukluk?
Dude, I rushed out a video on it yesterday. I've said for months that they needed to, and I've literally used a recording of myself in the past saying this, that they need to put it on Steam or do Twitch commercials, because this whole billboards and Quiznos ain't cutting it. And I'm so happy to see it. Terra, Black Desert Online, I think there was a Star Wars MMO. When they all went to Steam, their user populations doubled.
SWTOR went to Steam about a month ago, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's a good thing. I'm happy to see it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it's one of those things where Guild Wars 2 has so much to offer, and especially for a game that is buy to play but essentially free to play with no sub. I mean, the cost to entry is so low, and I have so many people who say, like, how have I never heard of this game? And yet the like quality of story and releases and things that we get are really some of the closest to a subscription model out of any game that is really as accessible to get into as Guild Wars 2 is. So it's so nice to see that actually being sort of showcased on a platform where people don't have to kind of like search for lists of MMOs or, you know, try to find categories on Twitch to ask streamers about MMOs, but instead to be able to just search on Steam and find that, like you were saying, Mukluk, it's going to be huge.
Awesome. So true. Inks, what did you think?
I think it's I don't quite understand what takes video game producers so long to get their games on Steam sometimes. Like SWTOR has been out for even longer than Guild Wars 2. Like,
Yeah,
what takes so long to make that transition? I'm sure they gotta pay a fee or they lose some money or whatever, but
I think it's exactly that, because I think if anyone buys gems through Steam Guild Wars 2, I think Steam will get like 30% of it or something.
Yeah, I'm sure.
the-
I've heard that. I was gonna say, I've heard that a lot of indie developers and things, even that's part of what's been drawing people over to like Epic Games Launcher and stuff, right? That some of those cuts and some of those negotiations behind the scenes can be far more punishing on developers. So I'm sure that's what kind of made them hesitant. But you also get so many more people that it's kind of a trade-off.
yeah, I mean, if it's going to like double your population, 30% is not so bad. Regardless of that, there are people out there, and I've seen this mentioned in chat and on Twitter yesterday. Some people said this to me as well, who only play games that are on Steam. Like, they don't go outside that sphere. So that's going to help as well. And I think in terms of ArenaNet, they'll be able to put the expansions and stuff on there. They'll be able to run sales through Steam that will get a lot more traction and viewership than they have in the past. Their marketing hasn't always been very good, or not very good at all. So I think that this is going to really, really boost them up as far as ease of installment. Ease of installment.
Like, you're completely right. Absolutely. I just want to note that Heart of Thorn's marking was fairly decent. That's
yeah,
when
but then Path of Fire, I don't know the exact reason, but they decided to do the exact opposite, which,
yeah,
you know,
we've had this
I don't
conversation.
understand. But anyway,
you're right.
I think Steam is great, and because we're getting a new expansion 2021, which we'll talk about soon, that's really going to help with ease of installation and grabbing attention.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be I think, like you guys, I'm shocked but also not surprised again. The reasons, I mean, there's many MMOs which have come to Steam. I just saw Albion Online's on Steam again. I think that came out maybe a year or so ago, and then went to Steam. And then if you type MMORPG into Steam, which is what I just did, there's like Destiny 2, there's Elder Scrolls Online, Final Fantasy 14. And it's like there's the big three after WoW, World of Warcraft, big four or so, which is Final Fantasy, so BDO, and then Guild Wars 2, not in any specific order. Of just, you know, these MMOs which should be like on Steam, and Guild Wars 2 is the one that wasn't. And I was just like, I mean, I know that they do, ArenaNet definitely do things differently, and you know, it's always there's the motto is it's out when it's ready and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, it's good to be doing the same things as other people are doing. If someone's doing something that's successful, you can take that thing and you can just make it your own and make it success. You know, and it's a lot very much like streaming as well. You know, people borrow from everyone in different ways. They just make it their own, or they make something original.
You just told the story of World of Warcraft. It's exactly what Blizzard does.
Exactly,
They wait for somebody else to produce something cool, and they just take in that into their game for a little twist.
And why the hell not?
Sure. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's
nothing wrong with that. It's good, right? But
and it's been
it's
interesting
one of the things.
too. I mean, because WoW has, in so many ways, I think it changed what we expected from modern MMOs, right? So we were even talking about EverQuest and stuff before stream, but the original release, like the original MMOs, were very different in sort of the way that they tailored to their audiences. And then WoW came along, and even classic WoW was considered to be a more casual MMO experience initially. So we've seen, like, in MMOs in particular, there is a lot of back and forth between, like, what works for the market, what helps with subscriptions, how do we get our MMO out there, how do we continue to build our base. And I think the Steam transition is, I mean, perfect timing, because with the hype for a new expansion, with all this other stuff that's going to be happening, right? This could be a huge thing to really push forward. And the fact that, I mean, I think we are really coming off of some great, like our cadences right now are so stable, even with the pandemic, which has been baffling to me. Like I watched Final Fantasy 14 that's been on like a 3-month delay. And even with the voice acting stuff, you know, I think that ArenaNet is really pushing to sort of aggressively put Guild Wars 2 forward in a way that's really exciting to see, and it makes me so happy because it makes me really optimistic for everything that's about to come, you know?
I think the one thing I do think about, and as we shift from like, I guess, talking about Steam to almost the expansion, because it is a good lineup. You know, I think like Ink said as well. In this build up to the expansion, it's going to be important to do it very differently, because for all we know, I think, you know, it could be the last one. You never know. It's been 8 years. It could be, you know, you just don't know, but something's got to change from the last one.
Really quickly on that topic, someone actually posted on the forums yesterday, and they said, "Is this the last expansion?" And then Ruby replied to it, and I don't have it in front of me, so this may not be word for word, but she said something along the lines of, "This is not the end of the story." Now, that could mean simply that there are more living worlds afterward. It could mean another expansion. It could be buy our new book. You know, I don't know, but that happened yesterday, so I just wanted to throw that out there.
Could be a new game.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing. They're working on something else.
They got something planned. They got something planned.
Do. They're working. I mean, we know this from people who are actually tweeting. They're saying they're working at ArenaNet and they're doing something else. And when they said they're doing something else, it's not an expansion. I don't think so. It's definitely something else, and I have no idea what it is.
There's at least one secondary team working on something totally unrelated. Jennifer Schuler heads that up.
She's the one.
Yeah.
She's the one, yeah.
Let's hope we don't hear them say, "Don't you guys have phones?"
Oh God.
Wonderful.
I mean, you know.
But I think it's important because people see the word "end" and they think, okay, this is it, you know. And for a long time too, a lot of us who have been in the community or part of the game for a long time have said that, you know, where does the game go once we're done with dragons? And it's good to know, or it's good to have just reassurance that there's going to be something else after it. I mean, you know, other MMOs out there, just because they're done a particular storyline, doesn't mean that they're not going to keep developing the game. It's a moneymaker for them. They're not going to just stop and say, okay, we're done. You know, we're good.
No,
so
I mean, this is
it's going to go on.
I mean, this is ArenaNet's product. This is their sole thing. They were going to have 2 others, and there was going to be 2 other things that we didn't get to find out about in the end, no matter what we know from different sources, that they're not existing, or maybe one of them do and it was continued. But like, this is their thing, so they can't. They're just not going to do that. They've got a studio to pay for, they've got people to, you know, employ, and even though their staff has changed around so much in the last 2 years, probably, you know, as hazarding a guess, probably more so in the last 2 years than they've ever had in their whole existence, I would imagine. I mean, you know, we've changed director, what, like 2 or 3 times since 2015, at least. You know, Mike, no one really knew he even left. Mike Z. It was really funny. I was playing in the Crucible community event last Friday, and I was getting excited about the new updates they put into the game. And Mike Z's in the flipping voice chat, and I was like, "Oh yeah, he works on Crucible." I was like, "Oh wow, okay." It was like I was screaming over these new additions. I was like, "That's embarrassing." I was like, "This is so good." Okay, cool. Yeah, so the guy who is the director of Guild Wars 2. Awesome.
Oh, sorry, Jeb. Did you want to?
No, I mean, I was just the comment of like, you know, we don't know who that person is. We know who the new person is, I guess, but we don't know. There's a lot of different things which feel a little bit uncertain, I guess, ArenaNet for me at the moment personally, just as a player and a content creator at times. To hear this information yesterday was a really good indication for the future, and like a thing where, you know, I know what's going to happen in the future with this game. And before, like last year, Birdofchess was there as well at the event. And I'm not going to speak for you and say exactly how you feel about it because it's your thoughts and feelings. But I was at the event and I was like, there's no expansion coming and they're doing things differently, because that's kind of how I think most people felt in the audience, because I think they felt about that as well. And then, you know, Mike's gone and is then other people left as well. And I feel like that their direction changed. Do you guys feel that at all, that the direction keeps changing for them, or at least the message they maybe give out to us changes consistently? Or is it just me? I don't know. Mukluk, do you want to have a...
I definitely feel like when it comes to the content creators for this game, I almost feel like the junior member. Like I've been making stuff for this game for like a year, and I know some of y'all been at it for 7 or 8. So like a lot of the name, like you know, the Mike Z and these specific people's names that I would have to wiki these people to know them by name.
Yeah,
but I'll say no, you're fine, you're fine. But to me that just goes into like, okay, I would need to do more research to really pitch in on that. But I will say, in looking at what I know of the timeline of this game, it definitely seems like there was a time period where they cared about raids. And then there was a time period they cared about fractals, and a time period they cared about World v. World, and they were all, for some reason, mutually exclusive. And that does strike me as odd.
I mean, however, though, I think that brings up a really good point, because I think people who have come from the history of, like, Guild Wars 1 into Guild Wars 2 through all the years of development, right? I would say that, at least, like, looking as somebody who just started playing the game myself within the last 3 years, 4 years, I guess it's almost been now, I don't have that really long history with it either, right? Like, sure, I have a little bit of time under my belt at this point, and, like, you know, I'm all caught up, and I've been working on a lot of different projects and all sorts of things, but it's one of those things where I think that long history sometimes can almost be a burden on looking ahead to new things and new changes, because you do know what ups and downs there have been in the development. And I think one thing with Guild Wars 2 is that it has been a little unpredictable, and the way that they have sort of conveyed information has been a little bit unpredictable over the years. But I do think that, like, there's no need for, I think a lot of times, the absolute panic that seems to happen in all MMOs. This is not unique to Guild Wars 2. Like, Final Fantasy 14, they told us the same thing. They're like, oh yeah, the next expansion is going to be the end to the Heidelin Zodiac stuff. And everybody's like, the game is over, the game is done, the game's dead. And you're just like, no, it is not. Like, they've said as much. We know it's not, right? And I think you have to really look at what is happening now. And, like, the new teams and in the longevity of any MMO, there's going to be turnover. Like, these games run for years. You're going to have new people take over. And sometimes that can honestly be one of the best things for the game, because it brings new eyes in. We've seen them trying to balance content better. We've seen the releases getting more and more consistent. The story is flourishing. So many things are doing so well in the game right now. And I think we have to look at that. And like the chat was saying, like, them putting it on Steam as well indicates to me that, like, no, they're looking ahead to the future, right? Like, this is probably not the end. If anything, I think they're trying to really figure out how they're taking the game forward. And that is a good thing for us as players. And they've been more communicative about it than ever, so.
True. Very true. Yeah, I think definitely the future is brighter than I think it has been in the last 2 years, I would say. I don't know. I'm not sure how Inks kind of feels. Look at Inks' face while we're talking about this. I'm like, I'm never sure how Inks actually feels, in all honesty.
Well,
that troubles me as a budding counselor in mental health. But
things have been rough since Heart of Thorns.
Yeah.
Path of Fire didn't really go over very well. Yeah. I think, it's one of these things where you have 3 or 4 different parts of the community all screaming for different things, and whoever's the loudest is who they sometimes listen to. Not always, but sometimes.
Yeah.
And from Heart of Thorns, it was everything's too difficult.
Right.
So they came to Path of Fire, and rather than meet some sort of middle road, everything was then just too easy for the most part, with the exception of, a couple things here and there. And the same for raids. I think it's very unfortunate that raids don't seem to be on the horizon.
I think they've broken up the team, haven't they?
Probably more than once.
Yeah.
But fractals, we know we're getting a new fractal from the stream yesterday. They talked a little bit about that, so that's good.
Sunqua Peak.
Yeah, but there really needs to be challenge modes and different levels of difficulty because right now, as it stands, for the last year or two, Guild Wars 2 has really been about a story single player MMORPG, which is kind of strange, right?
Well, yes and
And
no, though, because I mean, 14's doing the same thing with its story, and it's thriving. And I think the story can be a really strong draw, but you have to figure out how you balance your content in addition to that, right?
It sounds
yeah,
like
and I
as
think they're
well.
very heavy on the story aspect. And before Icebrood Saga, the stories had become very cookie cutter. The maps were cookie cutter. Thank you. The maps were cookie cutter. The events were cookie cutter. Like it was just okay. This release, here's a new map. Here's this stuff. Okay, the next release is kind of a mirror of that as well. They broke from that with Icebrood Saga, but I don't know. I don't know if it's because of the voice acting or whatever. It just hasn't, like, I don't care about it this year at all, which is a shame. But I am excited for a new expansion, but, you know, a huge content drop.
I think the voice acting is very. You don't know what you've got till it's gone.
Right,
Like,
yeah, for sure.
Very much, because I felt that in the previous episode to this one, which I actually haven't played because I didn't have a great experience without the voice acting. It felt very empty, and I think it's not because the story wasn't good at all, but it was just all I would hear every so often was the voice lines from Holbrack or the voice lines from Char in, like, you know, different areas, but I had fun with it. You know, I just did the voices myself, and had fun with it. Just do what you do what a streamer does.
Dude, I did that for a little while, and I have this
really?
stupid character on my stream named Dennis, and he's like, hello,
Dennis.
and he's an idiot, right? And people were like basically telling me, oh, like, do that guy as Dennis, do this as that, blah 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 blah. And I was doing this scene that I didn't realize it yet, but it was supposed to be like a really dark scene, and like it leads to a murder. And I'm just reading the dialogue, not really thinking about it before I read it, and then, you know, with that face on, I was like, your friends are all dead, you know, and then I was like, Jesus. You know, and I was just like, all right, guys, we got to turn this off. What is going on? I wasn't really paying attention. And yeah, it was a really... Oh, I think my power's going out.
Oh, no.
No, wait,
Oh,
are we
no,
back? Are we back? Did the power supply hold? I mentioned this earlier in the... I mentioned this earlier in the Discord. There is a storm here, so if I go, it's not because I hate you.
Oh wait, shit! Is it one of those really like crazy ones at the moment?
I mean, up until this point, it had just been like lots of thunder, but the power flickered there, but the power supply kept us on.
Okay. Please stay safe. Be careful.
I really got to get a power supply because I don't have one.
What is it? Wait, is that? Oh wow, you are pro. That is crazy. What is it? Just like you are now the only one with power in your entire house?
Oh, no. When I say a power supply, I mean like a uninterruptible power supply you have under your desk you plug your computer into.
Oh,
like,
okay, right.
It kept the computer on, the power flickered, and then it took over again.
Gotcha.
Right, okay. I was like, okay.
I don't have a generator behind me, like burning gasoline.
Dude, people have these things as streamers, man. They do. They have these backup.
It's funny.
Like, battery
Totally off topic, but my stepdad had their house set up with an automatic backup generator because last year they had a lot of power outages and stuff. So.
Oh, jeez. We don't have that here in the city. It goes out. It's just out. That's it. That's the end.
Yeah.
In darkness.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, same for me.
Now I'm just imagining that Ninja has like a nuclear reactor in the basement.
Oh, of course it does.
I mean, probably. Obviously.
He is the reactor.
It's interesting though, because I think I seem to have had a very different experience with season 4 and season 5 that I think a lot of people have, which I fully admit. And like, I am always one of those people that says like, hey, we absolutely can all have different experiences. I actually loved season 4, and I think what seems to have been really difficult for season 4 is the fact that, again, people didn't know what kind of content they were going to be getting. There were huge droughts in things like raid content, which is somebody who raids and teaches new raiders with our raiding guild that we have. Like, that is frustrating, and it is tough, you know, trying to incentivize people to want to get into it when that scene is kind of unpredictable. We also had no idea about anything with the new expansion, which was really odd. So I think there were a lot of things around that were frustrating. But from a simply narrative standpoint, and as somebody who grew up on like classic RPGs and all sorts of things, like, I loved season 4. And I loved seeing this twist with like, oh, we're not just going to kill the dragons. We are actually going to have a story where we truly have a partnership with one of them and we start learning some things and like broadening our perspective of the world. And all of the things that kind of happened in that were really exciting for me. And also I love Warina and I would die for her. And then we got into season 5, and
I would die for her.
I would literally, I would die for her.
I would die for her. I wouldn't sacrifice my in-game character for her, but I would definitely, yeah.
But then we got into season 5, and I really feel like the nuance of writing has blossomed. I think our character development has really shown. I think that a lot of the conflicts and things that maybe in the past weren't really fully fleshed out, we're really seeing them give a great kind of thematic twist to, and the events and the maps are reflecting that sort of momentum of the story, which is really lovely. And we're getting some new things like world versus world, PvE, and like all of that is fun. I've really enjoyed that. And I had the benefit of having gone to theater school, so I voice acted. I used that expensive degree to voice act both of the new episodes, which was really fun and a huge challenge because there are so many characters. And I totally understand that, like, especially the final fight of the most recent one, I had to basically stop fighting because there was just so much dialogue that I was there with some of our, you know, viewers, and I was like, you're gonna have to kill it because I'm just gonna be voice acting for approximately 10 minutes. So like, it was really incredible with that, like actually getting to get, I think, the dramatic high point of that episode. So I'm hoping that once it gets added back in, people who maybe don't have the time or you know, we're focusing on other things or we're doing it solo will be able to really experience that, because I do think it was a beautiful dramatic high that really brought together a lot of those character stories. But I do agree that it felt a little strange at the time, Jeb, I was thinking back to this, to have the season 5 reveal the way it was. I think if they had at the end just said, oh, and by the way, there's a new X-Pack coming. And even if they had just had that art up, it would have been a totally different experience.
Yep.
But I even said it in some footage that I captured afterwards, where I was like, I think this is them telling us there is much more to look forward to, and we may have a new expansion, but they just didn't say it, and people are angry. So
yeah, it's always the information you share, because like PAX West and E3 or PAX East even, there's always been like, if they've done a thing, normally, I'm not gonna say normally, Gamescom not so much. They'll be like, and they've made a fuss about it, and they've been like, you know, come to this venue to do the thing, which is outside of PAX West, which they've done many times. And I got to go to that this time, as obviously you did as well, and there were some other peeps there. Was just like, oh god damn. It was really good, and it was really fun, because it always is, because I get to see all my friends from Guild Wars 2, and that's always a good time. Done it many times, and it's always great. But then to not have maybe necessarily the X-Pack announcement with that was kind of sucky, and that was like 2018 now? No, wait, it was last year. It was last year, wasn't it?
You talking about the Icebird Saga one?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I think that was last year.
Yeah.
That was a year ago, Rick. That was a year ago. That's madness.
I can't believe that. It's
Actual
crazy.
madness. Like, wow, shit, that has been a year. And a lot happens in a year. But I think, you know, we're all excited. And then yesterday we get this. Screw it, I'm gonna show it. Let me just pop this on the screen. I don't know if the chat has seen it yet, and if this is the first time you've seen it, then cool. I guess. Where the hell have you been, also? I'm going to show it very quickly. It is the... So what Ruby did, and this was nice, because they still do the guild chats every so often. And they put it on the screen, and they had these interviews, these very in-depth interviews, which are so insightful, and bring a lot of awareness to the player base that do get to watch. And it's very sad that more people don't get to see this. about their thought processes behind the things they're doing, how they work things through, and also the personalities behind the game, which I love. I think that's very awesome. And then Ruby was like, I'm not going to introduce this. It speaks for itself, kind of thing, on the stream.
Really quick before you hit play,
Yeah.
there was a few people that reportedly from the chat, and I read it on the internet, so it must be true. But they were saying that right after she said, "I'm going to let this speak for itself," they got a Chick-fil-A commercial that interrupted the stream, and they
no way.
Oh no, that would be Twitch. That would be Twitch's fault.
yeah, but it's really funny.
Oh no.
That is amazing, actually. Wow.
Ruby's just like nuggets.
No. I mean, we all like nuggets, surely. I mean, does anyone not like nuggets? I don't know. Inks, don't tell me you don't like nuggets, because if you don't, bend in the call. Still hasn't said, doesn't want to upset me. Okay, right. I'm going to show you guys the stream. These guys are going to have to be awkwardly silent for a moment while I show this. But enjoy. It's about a minute. It's not very long. If there are any audio issues, let me know in the chat and just enjoy from it.
This land, it's a monument to mortal resilience. They built new lives upon the very thing that sought to end theirs.
Mortals are little flames, brilliant, hot, then gone. Those who face eternity easily forget what a lifetime means, what an ending means.
You know it doesn't have to be this way.
No, Kunavang, it does. They need me.
Ooh, the cycle is reborn, etc. That was like, it wasn't very long, and that's okay. But it was a trailer. And that, like, literally when they got shown, like, everyone came into, like, there was just people in the community came into chat, was like, there's a new expansion and the trailer's really good, it's going to Steam, and explosions of excitement. What do you guys think? First of all, Inks, how did you feel when you saw the trailer? What did you reckon? I know you're a very excitable person sometimes, and it's very difficult to you know, hold you back. When
you're gonna have to go to YouTube and watch all my
give me
excitement streams.
So again,
no, I loved it. I thought it was a good trailer. Some people were saying to me, you know, why are people so excited? Because we knew that it was going to be Cantha, and we knew that it was coming. Well, people are excited because they actually confirmed it. They actually showed you something. They gave you a little hint of what is to come. So that's why people are excited. I think it makes perfect sense. I got excited. I got hyped by the trailer. Yes, I knew it was going to be in Cantha, and I knew there was going to be an expansion, but having ArenaNet say Cantha confirmed and showing a trailer, you know, means more than just a blog post about something, you know.
Very true. Very true. And Inks got excited about the thing, so, you know, should bloody well be. I digress. I'm taking the piss. Birdofchess, how did you feel when you saw the expansion? What did you think? What did you think about the actual expansion, the trailer? What did you think about the trailer as well?
It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I mean, the first thing that struck me, and this is so silly because most people, you know, are like, I want all the details about everything, right? But I love the art style that they're bringing. Even the color palette, right? Like the palette that we saw in that preview image now to this trailer, it's so beautiful. Those like vibrant pastels. It's something that I honestly, this is such a weird note, but it's something that I honestly love to see, because I think that Guild Wars 2's world designs have always been gorgeous in a way that sometimes maybe other MMOs don't push as much. Like, well, we have an evil place, so we'll make big dark buildings that glow neon. And it's like, okay. But Guild Wars 2 has always had a really beautiful, vibrant world, so I was really excited to see that it seems like Cantha has a really distinctive, beautiful visual style that they've already obviously solidified, probably drawing off of palettes of like the Jade Sea and things there, right? So that was awesome. Also, any kind of dragons, I will take them. If you didn't guess by me being like, Oreen's my favorite ever, I'm so excited that Kunavang is back. And as somebody who just played Guild Wars 1 factions myself within the past couple years for the first time, I really loved the story. And I think that it gives them a great setting, especially if they are like culminating the draconic struggle. You know, we've already seen two of our major dragons being sort of hinted at here. One for sure, Jormag is definitely happening. Primordus has kind of been hinted at in season 5, and I am very, very excited, especially with some of the splash art, that it kind of looks like Bubbles, maybe. I mean, I'm saying it seems like we're gonna have a lot of crazy stuff happening, and I can't wait to see how it all pans out.
There was a Twitter post, or there was a tweet, I guess, from the narrative director for End of Dragons, and I apologize, the name escapes me at the moment. I don't have it in front of me. But they had said that Kunavang, obviously. Now, I had forgotten what Oreen's voice sounded like, so I just thought the other dragon talking was Oreen. It's not. It's a character we don't know about or haven't seen before. So that should be pretty interesting. We're talking about 2 dragons, one we know about from Guild Wars 1, Kunavang, and possibly another dragon, because of the logo, that we don't know about.
Bubbles.
Steve, yeah, whoever, yeah.
Steve from down the road. So yeah, exactly. So you're both excited about potentially what could be. Mukluk, did you play the Guild Wars factions? Do you know?
I did, but I will say that Guild Wars 1 didn't hook me the way the Guild Wars 2 did. So I played Prophecies, Eye of the North, and Factions. I never did Nightfall, but I also played them one time through, and that was like a decade ago. So, like, I remember missing my Ritualist. He was very dear to me. But the rest of the story, I admit I'm very rusty on. So, like, after I watched the trailer yesterday, I went straight to the wiki and was looking up Kunavang, and I'm like, all right, who is this guy? I'm like, all right, yeah, he was the thing with Shiro. Okay. You know, I had to do a refresher for myself.
Yeah, I need to get that as well, because I actually streamed my progression on Guild Wars, and I'm starting to think, did I play factions? I can't remember. And that wasn't that long time ago, and I'm just like, oh fuck, maybe I'm just getting old now.
That's when you look at your Hall of Monuments, you're like, apparently I did.
Yeah, I don't know. You didn't play factions, I don't think. I don't think I did, no. So I know what I'm doing next year. On stream, apparently I'm playing factions. So there you go. Stream announcement. Factions will be next year. But that will be in the lead up. Yeah, we should actually. There we go. No more jumping.
I think it's also really neat that they are setting the end of this sort of draconic arc in Cantha, because I know when sort of, you know, the first image came out and everybody was going, oh, there was like a mix. Half of the people were really excited because they loved factions and the content that it brought, and especially the PvP content and the setting. And then half of the people that I would have and be talking to in chat were like, I am not excited. Why are they just rehashing more stuff from Guild Wars 1? I don't get it. But I said it then, and I will continue to say it now. I think that there does come a time, right, where if you are like an MMO or any kind of game that is kind of a legacy, right? It's an ongoing thing where you have to sort of decide to yourself, your developmental team, like, what do we do so that players feel like this world is consistent and our story has these ties, and it brings that nostalgia, but not in a overused way. And then how do we move past that to grow it into something else? And there are all these wonderful, wonderful, unique things in Guild Wars 2, like the fact that humans are aliens, like all this stuff that, I mean, they can absolutely explore plot-wise, but I think they needed to give like a final wrap-up to a lot of the zones and the things and the storylines that still really strongly connect to that Guild Wars 1 thread. And so I love having Cantha be our setting, and then having maybe this end to the arc with the dragons and looking ahead to the future, because we knew that day would come. There's only so many dragons. And we learned that we can't keep killing them. So there has to be a future. There has to be a future at some point. And I think this could be a really lovely way to say, like, hey, here's a little button on the stuff from Guild Wars 1, and now we're moving ahead with our legacy into the future to create something new.
Yeah. I mean, it's always been like, you know, the dragons have been the overarching thing, right? They've been the thing. You know, if with Heart of Thorns, I think that's the first time where I really properly, I guess, experienced, because even in the main story, I didn't really feel it. But like Heart of Thorns, where I was like, there's this, you know, there's Mordremoth, like there's this guy, but then there's all of these, like all these big stories inside, these mini stories of different characters. And, you know, there was, I'm not going to talk about them massively, but there were just stories which, you know, I did enjoy, even if I didn't massively enjoy going through the maps while doing them. And you know, even during Path of Fire, I did enjoy the story in Path of Fire. I didn't, you know, it was something it did, and it wasn't, you know, it wasn't about, you know, just dragons all the time. And they can do it, and we've seen it before. So I think you're very, very right about that, Rook, and I'm excited to see that as well. I mean, I think I was very surprised. Like, it was very bright. It's very colorful. It's very the opposite of what we have right now in the game. It's like, it's very white, blue, black, it's dark, it's, you know, and then suddenly we just got this burst of color and just brightness, and it's just like, it almost feels like a completely different game, just the trailer. And even on the Steam trailer, they've got the Path of Fire trailer. Have you seen that? The old one. And I was like, the game looks so different there again. And it's so descriptive of how I feel about Guild Wars 2, sometimes about their direction. Sometimes they just go in every way. They're always trying to change. They do try and change things up in terms of, you know, the way they're telling stories, the way they're going with the games, and something Mukluk said about the individual modes as well. I do feel like sometimes there's some separation in what they're trying to do. I'm not sure about what my point is right now. I think that's just a thought I had that I just put out there. But sometimes that happens, and you guys know that. And suddenly I've got wooden potatoes on my screen. Who is back, apparently, which is cool. He's been away for a while as well, so it's good timing. But yeah, I'm excited. I think the expansion talk and everything else has taken over exactly what I wanted to talk about today, so I'm actually going to change the subject. Is there anything anyone wanted to say about the expansion or yesterday's announcements that maybe I've missed? I don't think there is anything else, is there? Camp for confirmed hashtag.
There was Steam, there was the expansions. They're half off right now. I'm sure Jebro has a referral link, you know, if you're not using mine. What else? Underwater Skimmer. I think that was most of it.
Yeah, it's it is going to be interesting. I think most of us are just really looking for more details and excited about it. I'm curious to see if they're going to do something with PAX West digitally. I was kind of bummed because I was going, what if we'd had another really cool expansion release event, or like, you know, expansion news event this year? But I'm sure it'll still be great to see whatever they do, if they do something online. And the fact that it's coming out in 2021, which a lot of people were, you know, kind of going, oh, and I was over there going, I figured that if they were announcing it, it's probably going to come sometime soon. But again, like, people, it's been really up in the air about what exactly is happening with expansions, or what exactly the pacing of the future of the game would hold. So it makes sense, and I'm just excited to see when we get more news, I think, at this point.
Q4. It's got to be Q4 next year, for sure. It has to be. I don't think it's going to be any earlier. I think it'd be crazy.
I don't know. I think it could be as early as May.
Wow. Things early as May. Why do you think that? Are you just like, you feel
well, the current story, Icebreak Saga, is getting ready to wrap up. It's got, what, 1 or 2 episodes left?
True.
Maybe. Something like that, which is about 6 months.
Yeah.
And 6 months puts you pretty close to May, so somewhere around there. The other date that I would pull out is September, because they like to release things in September. So if not in May or June, say, it'll be like September, October.
I'm actually feeling that too. I don't know exactly what it is, but I do feel like it's going to come sooner than we expect. Which makes me hope that they will lead up to it a bunch, but it does seem
Yeah.
to me, and I wonder how much of this is sort of a side effect of being a non-subscription game, which is
Yeah.
something that I always try to tell people to keep in mind, right? Subscriptions are very hotly debated in the MMO community, but a lot of times it does mean that there is like a very predictable source of income that allows them to schedule things in a very specific, orchestrated, and aggressive way, right? Whereas Guild Wars 2, I think we've seen a lot over its development. You don't always know exactly what you're getting. Sometimes I'm pretty sure that they do have to do trade-offs. Like, we will release this exactly then, and then we are going to develop this thing, and it kind of makes it erratic. But they've been working more and more and more to streamline it, and I think give people something that they can definitively expect, and then communicate that through blog posts, guild chats, all that kind of stuff, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if they've been working on this for a while, and it is going to be coming out sooner rather than later, and the fact that we are actually getting news about it now says, like, we finally got the go-ahead to actually share this because it's definitive, you know, like, it's definitely going to happen. So that's just my guess. I don't know, but that's just what I'm feeling.
Mukluk, what do you feel?
I've never been one to really predict games. I honestly, I try to be very lenient with my expectations. I'm also a very patient person. So when I, like, for example, when they had those huge layoffs, like that was probably over a year ago at this point, you know, in my head, I'm immediately like way more patient with them. So I'm pleasantly surprised that they've released stuff every 3 months since then. So if they didn't get it out in 2021, I'd be like, oh, that's a bummer, but I also wouldn't be surprised. So I guess I'll probably be the one to say that if it was super late next year, I would kind of expect that. And if it happens in May and Inks is right and someone's like, oh, you were wrong, how do you feel? I'm going to be like, dude, that's fine. I'm happy.
Yeah, that's good. No, exactly. I'm the same as well. Yeah. I'm pretty patient. It's like definitely compared to when I think age helps as well. Just getting older and just being like, I can kind of wait for stuff, especially nowadays because there's so much stuff that just comes out all the time anyway. And just like, well, you know, I'm good.
I will say that I think that ArenaNet feels pretty confident about 2021, or they wouldn't have given you a year or date, because they don't like to do that.
Yeah, that's true. I guess so. I guess they never really said. Did they say a year before? I mean, I guess they say we knew Art of Wands, but like it was just like this.
I think they've said like, oh, quarter 4 of whatever
in
year,
that year, right? Yeah.
So they might not be solid on which quarter it'll release, but they're confident before the end of 2021 it should be out.
Good times. Well, we're thinking about that. Probably got under an hour to talk about this, and maybe, you know, something we can link to the future expansions as well. A future expansion. Ooh, wow, I'm being positive there. Not that I'm not. I don't think I'm a negative person, especially about the game, other than, you know, maybe PvP, which concerns me massively. It always has done. Guilds and Guild Wars 2. Which something. Oh, the mouse is there on Inks' face. Sorry, the weird thing that OBS does on my other PC. Just a random mouse on Inks' face. Thank you for pointing that out. Guilds in Guild Wars 2 are an odd beast, I've always found. And actually, it was something Mukluk said yesterday when he was talking about, I think, how many guilds do you have to like manage the amount of people you have in your community, like that want to join stretch across YouTube?
All right, so I have 3 guilds. But to clarify that, one of my YouTube videos, I've got this one particular video, and in it talks about like guild buffs and synthesizers and how helpful they are to new players. And I end the video when I said something along the lines of, if you're new and you want a place where you can ask questions or just mooch, that's totally fine. You can use our resources, just hit me with a whisper in game. And I had no idea what I was getting into when I did that. So at the time I had 1 guild, now I have 3. I've delegated some people that if anyone's been inactive for over a month, they kick them out of the guild and invite somebody new. But honestly, it's kind of a revolving door of people that ask questions. I try to help them, and they mooch resources. You know, there are some people that have been there forever, and those people are kind of a tight-knit community, but it's not like 1,500 people that know each other.
So
it's
yeah. But it's still so that's like, fact that there is I guess a limit, and I guess that is quite on the extreme level of things. But it brought me thinking about functionality of guilds a little bit more as well. And I've always been thinking about, a podcast about talking about, and literally the title of this was going to be "Where is the guild in Guild Wars 2?" and thinking about, what do we do as guilds? Like, what is a guild? Is a guild a community? Is a guild the name, the banner, and everything that we kind of sit under, that we always do stuff together? Is it guild missions? Is it guild PvP, world v world, events? Like it, and again, it's whatever you do as players, and we're all going to do different things. I'm sure we all do. Whether it's raiding, PvP, guild missions, but what are the tools that maybe enable us to do these things a little bit easier, or to even give us the content where we can be like, just as individuals, not as streamers. When I say content, it's always, people think streamers or YouTubers or whatever, or Instagrams or influencers, and just like, well, content is a thing that we all participate in. It's not just a buzzword for streaming.
That reminds me, I'm recording this, right? Okay, yeah, we're good. Go on.
This content coming to you through content, a place where you can watch content. What's a guild to you guys? What's the guild to Birdofchess? What do you use your guild for?
Oh, geez. It's interesting because I've run or headed up guilds in several different games now.
Mm-hmm.
And Muck, I don't know how you do 3. I'm gonna be real with you. Myself and my mods can barely deal with 1. I don't even know. That's crazy to me.
Lots of delegation.
So much delegation. Seriously, you cannot do it alone. Guild Wars 2 has actually, out of all the games that I have made groups or guilds in, has been the most active of all of them, which really surprised me at first, honestly. But I think that although there's a lot of areas that I definitely think they could bulk the system up, and they should. And yes, like this whole debate about like, where is that kind of guild? Do we do guild versus guild? Is there more content coming out for guilds? What about guild hall expansions? When are we even going to get another one? Like, there's all these different things that I think as a type of content, they could absolutely be monopolizing on and developing more aggressively to really create something unique. But at the same time, I do think that Guild Wars 2 has some great features already in it, like those buffs that you were talking about, Muck. Like the fact that you can be in multiple guilds, so people don't always feel like they have to make some sort of weird trade-off, and you can just represent different guilds at different times. The guild missions, even though they get boring if you've done them 1,000 times, they were super fun to me. The first few times that I went through them, and they're still fun to get together for. I love the variety. I love the Chicken Chaser title. It's my title in game. It's hilarious. I love the weird stuff that you can do with your guild. And the fact that engaging with them gives you actual rewards, whether that's like the guild cape or even ascended accessories or things that might be useful for you. Capturing the guild hall is also fun. But I think, as always, a guild is going to be what players want it to be and what the people heading it up do to sort of further that, right? So like for our guild, we have learning progression raid parties because we had a bunch of amazing raiders that were like, hey, we would like to teach the community. So with Phaeus's help, we organized, and now we have 3 different teams that run 3 times a week, and we get new players in, we teach them what they need to know about their rotations, we help them get geared, we like walk them through the basics of raiding, and that's been amazing. Some guilds, though, will be more social. They'll be more focused on this particular element. They'll want to know everybody. They won't want to talk to anyone. Like, there's so many different reasons that people might join a guild. And I think that it really is just about getting enough people in one place that all share the same mindset, or having people who are willing to do that kind of content that makes a guild what it is,
So many different things.
Yeah.
Just depending. And then there are people...
different.
And then there are those people who kind of step up, like you say, and they take on some kind of ownership, or they, like, Mukluk said as well, delegation, or whether or not it's their own, and obviously these people want to do these things. Kind of gumption or whatever to do the things and to help out the community. So a coming together of the people, which is very, very good. Inks, I don't know how active you are right now in a guild per se. I know we were in a guild together for a while, back in the day, but
what guild were we in?
I think it was maybe a crossover. I think like I was coming in just as was it the one with Aurora Peachy and Boggar and we used
Oh
to do
yeah, the creator guild. Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
savage. He's just like, I don't remember you.
I know, right? It doesn't. Wow.
Maven.
It
Yeah,
wasn't the
Maven.
creator guild. It wasn't the creator guild. It was like I can't remember.
Well, not a creator guild, but almost everybody who was in the guild was either a content creator or worked with fan sites or something like that. I mean, not everybody, but a lot of the members were.
Yeah. And it was Maven. Yeah, it was Maven. That's it.
Yeah, Maven.
Yeah.
It's a shame because that was one of the better guilds because we would get together weekly to do guild missions.
Yes,
But
exactly.
we did that for 4 years or something, maybe.
Mhm.
And 4 years of weekly doing guild missions when nothing changes, nothing's updated.
Yeah.
A lot of the people, because they're content creators, became too busy to just like be there every week. So it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, but Bogart has built mission videos. Yeah, I was in a couple of those. Inks was as well.
With
Yeah, they were fun.
with our 3 guilds, one day someone shared with me the marvelous tip that if you do a guild race, many different guilds can do the same race at the same time. And when we found that out, we stopped doing every mission other than races because all 3 guilds could check those off at this. Like if there's 2 races that day, that's 6 missions, and then we're like, great, that's good enough for the week. We'll come back next Monday. No, it was just it was too much to do missions for all 3 of them. So now we just do races.
It's a good idea.
It'd be nice to see them add more of that content, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Different missions. We've gotten some cool stuff with like the light puzzles and some like new things to do on maps. And it'd be so nice if we also got like a new guild mission with each map or
Yeah.
you know?
I'm like, yeah, it's definitely. I think someone said abandoned was kind of, I think, you know, the way I feel about missions.
Well, they disabled the guild team before Path of Fire.
Disbanded?
So, yeah. I don't unless something has changed in the last year or
there
so.
isn't one. No, there must not be.
There wasn't a guild team anymore.
Yeah.
That kind of content was what little came out. Decorations and stuff was handled by somebody else, a different group of people.
You know, another thing that's been I've got a wish list video that I'm pulling from right now. You know how in the guild halls you can place objects. You know, you can you can Minecraft in the guild hall. I would love to see them take whatever the tech is for that and copy paste it into the home instances, so people can design their own homes. And there's many people that are like, yeah, I don't really care if that feature's there or not. But then there's other people that would just be like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs if they could do that.
Like they're lying. They're absolutely lying. They're lying to you. Because if they had it, they would absolutely flip and love it. Have you guys ever been toured anyone's house in Elder Scrolls Online?
Yes.
Because
yes.
my God, one of the biggest things in the game, and you can't even like construct like, you know, I mean, like single blocks and stuff like that. But the things that people create and build in Elder Scrolls Online in their housing is that like, it's insane. It's wonderful. In fact, it's amazing.
They love it. Warframe with clan dojos, same thing. Like there's whole design contests and all sorts of stuff with it. ESO, Final Fantasy 14, people love that. And decorating the guild halls is super fun. But you're right. I think like they've been in this weird place of, okay, so because the title of our game is Guild Wars and because guilds are a thing and we put all these interesting things in there to expand that in Heart of Thorns, but now we have this dilemma, right? Of like, do players feel as though they have to be in a guild to play our game? Like, do we create content and ongoing content that punishes people who aren't essentially? Like,
you are not in a guild, punished.
Yeah. Think about it. When you think about it, there are so many people now that are like, I want to play an MMO, but I want to play a single player. And to me, that's always very confusing because I'm like, but wait, hold on. It's an MMO though. So the whole, okay. Yeah. But I mean, I think that they realize like we can't develop too much or put too many resources in this if it will isolate a part of the community. But getting something like single player housing, everybody can do that. Everybody can have a great time. You can even sell furnishings. ESO makes a killing on the insanely.
Oh, that's what they make the most of their money. Absolutely. I mean, they sell houses for $150 plus.
It's crazy to me. That's actually the most baffling parts of the cash shop in ESO for me. And have I saved so that I can get the Somerset house when it comes around again? Yes, I have saved. So that
Hey man, you should have just got that for free when it was available.
I came into the game literally the day it ended.
Yeah, Jesus, Rook, go back in time. What's wrong with you?
Honestly. You have the power of chess compels you to go back. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, my relationship with ESO, I played it when it was released. It's a whole other story, but I came back to it in the past few years. But it's been interesting to see how they have handled things, and then to even look at stuff with like Guild Wars 2, you know?
Definitely, absolutely. So that's actually a good thing. Like thinking about, even some of the good stuff that are in Guilds, like Mukluk says, and then transferring them into other aspects, like more solo single player stuff, as well, like the home instances, because they are one of the only MMOs without that are kind of popular. I mean, other than I guess World of Warcraft, where they don't have that kind of a system, but. And again, the guild missions, so they've kind of been abandoned. And I often think now, and because I remember Guild Wars 2 for me, a guild was more my World v World. That's where I started. World v World for like a year and a half solid back in the golden age of World v World. Which I will always say in the golden days of like the amazing epic guild videos and the crazy Red Guard times and like just the players and just the communities we had back then were just like the best. That was like the pinnacle for me of like
it's good.
guilds.
Blackgate was #1.
I can't remember who it was, but like I was in the EU at that point.
You were in EU, but for NA.
Was it back? See, there was some crazy like server pride back in the day, but that doesn't mean there isn't now, of course, because I just don't. I'm not aware of it as much. But in terms of guilds, I guess there was a lot early on, I think, which I was really, really excited about, especially when I started to play, where you could create the banner, which is basic stuff now, which is very cool. And they keep putting these things into the game, different images that you can put in, like the quaggons and all the other stuff. And someone designed one, and wasn't there a competition for that ages ago where someone could design one? I think that was. I can't remember.
I think they actually the last year had a whole new batch that came in that were designed.
Yeah, probably. They definitely did do that a couple of times. Yeah. But then I'm thinking, what else do I do? And maybe it's just even a shift of, I can't remember who said. Someone said it earlier. The idea of what an MMORPG is now. I think it was kind of all of you in some way, shape, or form. This RPG single player experience as well, which is very much what Elder Scrolls. Now I compare Guild Wars 2 and Elder Scrolls a lot together because I do a lot of content in Elder Scrolls Online as well. And I get very much the single player RPG idea in that game, more so maybe as well, even though there is a lot of stuff you can do with other players. And because the guild functionality in that game is just awful. It's just nothing other than guild traders, and it's all about trading and marketing. And actually that system is very good. And it's all about creating a store where you go to and you own this store in the world, and people have to go to that store physically. See, I didn't like it much, but it is weird how it's like, I'm going to go to this guild store and it's in, Deshan or something. And you're just like, oh, wow, that's actually quite cool. But still, I would prefer not to do that. And I'd like to go on trading post, just, and just do that and go to anyone because it's just an ease. But it's, an RPG thing, right? And that kind of thing is good, and games do it differently. But I guess a question when I'm looking at all the stuff I'm talking about, and I've written on this document, is like, how much do we need this stuff? Do we need guild stuff? Do we need guild features? Is it stuff we have to? I mean, Inks is nodding your head. You're nodding your head. So why do we need these things?
Guilds are and have always been the lifeblood of an MMORPG. Okay. Without guilds, without groups of players coming together and forming a community, there is no community. And the community will keep you playing the game long past your interest has waned from the game itself, because you'll log in
Mhm.
just to chat with your friends, to do something together, to world versus world or PvP or raid or do whatever. You will play the game much longer because you've made those friendships and bonds than if you were just playing by yourself.
Or because you're the main tank and they made you feel guilty for 2 more years.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so true.
Speaking from WoW experience right now.
Oh no. And you're in the road, you're like, no one else can do this. Can you come?
No, I mean,
Our
it very much
enjoyment
came
depends
to a
on
point
your-
where I was logging into that particular game because of the
Yeah.
people, not because of the game.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's good. Yeah.
And I know it's true because I've done it with every single MMO I've ever played. I played WoW and expansion longer than I ever would have. I played SWTOR way longer than I ever would have. Rift way longer than I ever would have. You know, Guild Wars 2, which I'm still playing, way longer than I would have. So, you know, it's definitely the bonds and the friendships you make with people, the communities that you become part of that make you stick around much longer than you naturally would have.
So do you think it? So then, in that, and I know this is your opinion specifically. So in that, in thinking about that, do you feel like there should be more of a focus on how they maybe approach guilds in the future, or like, do you think they should
I
develop
think
it
that,
more? Or...
I mean, I think that there should be certain tools and a certain amount of the game that should be designed around having guild content. Like guild missions need to be updated, should be updated.
Yeah.
Guild halls, the new guild halls for every expansion should be added with new decorations, things that you can earn together. You know, I think one of the cool things they did with raiding was that you collected this currency to make a raiding statue to say, we did this.
Ooh,
or,
what
"I
about
did
raid
this enough
missions?
to build it.
What about raid
Yes.
missions?
Raid
Sure,
mission-
yeah.
Just,
Why not? A raid mission. Kill X boss or whatever for the week.
I mean, they could take existing content in the game, right? But just do something that makes like a guild mode of it that you could run, you know, where like for a weekly mission or something, yeah, kill this boss and then you know, get some other stuff, or complete this puzzle and get everybody to the end of it. And then like, so that they're not having to constantly develop all new content for it, but that there are still ways that as a guild, if you want, you can engage and get additional rewards. And I think that like expanding the rewards that are in the guild hall is a great thing. Or even like if they don't add all new halls, I'd love to see them add new tiers or like parts of upgrades where like you can unlock some kind of new functionality. I mean, there's so many little silly dumb things that you can do. I was just playing Red Dead Redemption 2 online. This is gonna sound really weird.
Or
but
hack simulator online, I call it.
I was playing it, and they have in some of their updates, it's a hot mess, don't get me wrong, but in some of their updates, they've introduced this thing called like Moonshiner, right? Where you can become a Moonshiner and you can start this Moonshiner shack, and you can open a bar down in the basement. And if you get that bar and you get the upgrades and stuff for it, there are even like instrumentalists, and you can go sit your characters in the instrumentalist spots and like play the instruments all together and stuff like that. Or like
Oh, this is online you're talking about.
online, yeah. And you can like pour drinks at the bar for people. You can like make drinks per their request and like pour drinks at the bar for people that come in. It's sometimes even just little things like that that give people a reason to be somewhere together, or like to AFK there. That can really make something fun and feel alive, right? Even if they put an arena for like a specific space for making and building jump puzzles, and there was some sort of little thing where you could have like a completion top rank guild list, like this person completed it in the fastest time or something. Like there are so many different little things that they could do that I don't think mean all new content, but that could still be really, really fun and give people, I don't know, more functionality and reasons to get together. And RP. Obi's teasing me about RP.
Yeah. I think the like some of the guild missions for dungeons, like utilizing old content that just isn't really used much, and just using content in the game. Like, things don't have to be brand new to get, there's so many things in Guild Wars 2 which aren't utilized anymore. Like areas, there are like things that instance content where you're just like, yeah, this could be a guild dungeon every week. Get this path or get this whole dungeon cleared. These paths, by the guild. Like I don't know, rescue blah 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 in this dungeon, and find this NPC, and get them out or something like that. And it's just like 5 people getting together, get the guild commendations. Maybe there's a new cape or something, like a different color cape you can get. I don't know, whatever. But I feel like those were really good ideas. This is why I like doing this, because we always have these sparks of creation. And just like, hopefully maybe one day. I'm pretty sure we've done some bits in the past where there's been it's been quite influential, I like to think, some point in time. But I don't know. Yeah, I like those ideas. I think
another thing, if we're dreaming about getting a unicorn for Christmas right now,
unicorn. Yeah.
From talking to Roy, something I never thought of before I spoke with him, the PvP area of the guild hall, it doesn't use PvP rules.
No, it doesn't.
So if for example, Soul Beast uses Sikkim, it still does a 40% damage increase there. PvP, that's been nerfed down to 20. So
this
if you
is a very old conversation, it's very, very triggering.
It is, but,
right. Well, you get where I'm going with this. They need to fix it. Okay, that's it.
Using rule versus rule rules.
Oh yeah.
That's so weird. I actually didn't know that, because we have the PvP hall, but we haven't used it a ton, or the building.
See, Jebro was worth saying.
Worth saying. Oh no! I agree. I absolutely agree, because I was hype about that. That was the main thing I was excited about. I was like, finally we can have the guild versus guild community. When GVG, I'm probably one of the original people who was there when it started. It was in the south side of the map, next to the windmill on one of the borderlands, and that's where it was born. That's where it was born. And then it went to what's it called? The mini arena in Marvel. I can't remember what it's called now. Which is now instanced. And that's where it started, years ago. So I was pumped for it. I was like, there's GVG now, this is GVG. And then it came and it was like, oh god.
Oh god.
Okay, cool.
I think we talked about this last time, but the idea of dynamic events happening at the guild hall would also be cool. Like a band of raiders storms it or something, and you get a message if you're in the guild. It's just
that's how you get it in the first place.
Rally to fight them off. I think that'd be neat. And I'm seeing in the chat actually a couple really good ones. The idea of guild embassies in each major city, complete weekly hearts or something, or in favor with that city. Maybe there's special rewards or something. Mount skin, or skins, because skins are such a it'd be so great to have more ways in the game.
No, skins and MMOs. What are you talking about?
Get skins for your mounts or for your gliders and things. That would be really cool as well. I think there's a bunch of ways they could do it, and it would be nice to see some of that. I think that guilds, again, it shouldn't be something that makes or breaks your experience. But I will say that having played a lot of different MMOs, the guild system in Guild Wars 2, even as it is, did feel really fun. And it felt like there was actually attention paid to it to some degree. Whereas a lot of other games, it's oh, well, you're just all doing stuff, I guess. Maybe you get some buffs.
It's a friends list with buffs.
It's a friends list of buffs, So I think that's why people want more, because the promise of something really cool is there.
Sure. I mean, that's the thing. I think you're all right in different ways. There is definitely a very unique. It is a uniqueness that Guild Wars 2 has with their guilds for sure. And guilds. I think Guild Wars 1 in terms of their teams as well, being known in PvP was, and I wasn't massively involved back then, and I really wish I was. Was massive. I think guild had was big, a big thing, and it is now in World v World as well. I think still a massive thing. And maybe in raiding and competing and the motors and different things like that. Is very important. I think the uniqueness of that. I am disappointed that it hasn't been fleshed out more and developed more. I think there's loads of ideas, and that you guys have had just now, which are really, really, really good.
Higher SA net.
Sorry,
I said higher SA net.
There you go. And Mukluk talks about the arena. When I say I get triggered, it's just because I've definitely had this conversation before, and I know exactly what Roy's saying for sure as well. Because as soon as it came out, and when I tested it myself early in back in the day before it was released, it's like I'm not sure about this, I hope hopefully things develop and change, and there hasn't been that. And I think that is my major issue, where a thing gets introduced, it's such an original, fantastic idea, and then it kind of doesn't get completed to a point where I think this could be so good. But then there's a move. There's a move onto something else, and I think guilds are one of those things. Personally, for me,
this is such a tiny thing, and it's you know what I mean. But we've seen some stuff with like the achievements for new players and things. I would love it if with like a guild hall, there was something where when you first went there, or like when you first joined a guild or something like that, a prompt or something appeared that said like, hey, would you like a tour of your guild hall's functions or something? And then like when you went into it, it would actually say like, here is this place and it will do X for you if you opted into the tour. Or like as you upgraded, it does like give you notifications, but I do feel like a lot of new players or people don't always totally understand what the guild hall has to offer. Muck, that's why your video being like, this is what the guild hall offers is so valuable, because
well, they probably don't exists as well. They really don't even know.
I find myself even forgetting, like people on stream are having to remind me all the time when I've been leveling alt characters, like go get the buff from the guild hall, and I'm like, oh yeah, and I like go and I get it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I forgot that exists. It would just be nice to actually, I think, have something be there that would just accessibly tell people, or like when you get that upgrade, like, hey, this is exactly what you get now, as opposed to just having the people who might be tabbing in to like contribute the resources being the ones that kind of know. Everybody having an idea of it would be really nice.
See, I like that. That contributing the resources was a big thing when guild halls came out. Like when we need to get the mine going, so we need this, that, the other. We need to get the scribing stuff. We need to get these waypoints up. We need to just get around the map. We need to invade the place to get the guild hall in the first place and kill all these mini bosses. And we need to coordinate and we need to do this stuff. It was so good. Like, I remember doing that for the first time. And then there were videos, speed runs of people doing it. And like other people like, can you do this with 5 people? We prove you can do it with 3. Oh, now 2. And I can solo this or whatever. And obviously not. Well, maybe you can. I don't know. But,
Revenants, probably.
Sorry?
I said a Revenant, probably.
Yeah, exactly. So, someone's got that somewhere. But it's just like, all this stuff. And I'm just like, the uniqueness, they have it, and they've got the creativity, and they've got the people there to do it. I think that, but then it's just the carrying on. Like, how do they continue that? And I feel like they just move away from it. And I give them the biggest credit in the world for how creative they are. And it's just a continuation of those things. I think sometimes where I'm where I'm just like, it would be nice if we could carry it on, but I think that goes to, it's very similar to many other games, but maybe that's just answering calls, like dedicating teams to different things. You sometimes just can't do that. You've got to create content going in other places, and we don't know how many people got involved with that content in the first place. So they might be going off numbers. Maybe people just didn't take to it. Maybe they weren't in guilds in the first place to even get involved in it. So they know those numbers, we don't. But
if you see that as a developer, not that I have ever developed video games, but just in general, if there is a piece of content that you've created that people are not utilizing either properly or at all, or it's just not seeing a lot of traction, then you should probably promote your content creators who make videos and content about that, underused thing like guilds or guild halls. You should probably publish that more so that other people can see how cool it can be to build racetracks into Guildhall, jumping puzzles. Wooden Potatoes had a long series for a while about his Guildhall. I know there's a lot of guilds out there who do different things, racetracks and jumping puzzles and all that kind of stuff. Feature that more, and then more people will check out that part of the game.
Preach it.
But if you don't do that, if you don't draw attention to it, then your numbers stay low. It's
Is it then up to the content creators? I guess then there's another question to help promote the game in that way, and I think the answer for me would be no.
Sure, but you have content creators who are part of a partner program and not part of a partner program.
You use them. This sounds awful.
Tweet that content out. Push a particular narrative that you want to sell that week or month or whatever.
If I could.
Yeah. Or. Go. Be free.
You have to roll dice and actually fight to the death.
Okay, yeah, broken pool stick right in between us. No, I was gonna build off of Inks' idea. Black Desert Online, when you launch the game in the launcher, sometimes it'll show content creators that have passed some sort of verification, like they're good boys and girls, and they'll plug them in the launcher. I was just imagining a Guild Wars 2 world where in the launcher it'd be like, curious about guilds, check out this video from blah, and then the next week, like Ink said, maybe they're like curious about blah.
5 years ago, I swear, man, like you would have been good in these conversations because we've had these conversations for so bloody long, and PvP is one of the places where we've had it. That exact thing has just been like, guides. Like, what if you had a guide? And it's because of games like Smite is actually one of the big ones that was the big comparisons back then. But you're right, BDO does that as well, where you've got these guides in the launcher and you've got to like content creators, even if it's just like to a list of people who are active content creators doing stuff.
Even if it's inactive, if the guide is still relevant, valid, like let's say Dolphy. Dolphy is a content creator that we all know, no longer active. Guide's still fantastic. If Guild Wars 2 it was like, hey, would you be okay with us putting this in the launcher? Dolphy would be like, free ad revenue for me. Guild Wars 2 gets a thing that they don't have to pay to make. Everybody wins. I'm sure they'd have a review team or something, make sure that it doesn't say like smoke in the background of the video or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I honestly feel like everybody would win.
I totally agree. It is interesting because I think we're kind of on the threshold of seeing MMOs and or developers really, really trying to figure out how to use their content creators, right? Because on one hand, we do have Guild Wars 2, which, as somebody who's also part of the partner program, and I think a lot of us can attest, I do believe there's a lot there that like is great. And I've been so glad to be a part of it. And I was able to go out and, do a panel and speak at the convention and be in some of their mental health videos. And that was an incredible experience that I have not been like directly offered by many other companies, even with games that I have like a very good relationship with. So I loved that. I do agree that I think, especially with them being such a no sub, low cost to entry game, right? Really promoting those content creators and really building that up and using those resources to, again, cut down on their own workload and all the stuff that's going on would be brilliant. And I really hope they keep trying to do that moving forward. It was great seeing some of the stuff with the big raid tournament and things that they've been able to actually like coordinate and get to work together and promote. And I think they need to keep moving in that direction. On the other hand, then sometimes you have games, like 14, for example, that has no partnership program, absolutely nothing that's offered, not even partner links, not anything. Like, they don't even have an in-game wiki. Like, it's one of those things where Guild Wars 2 does a lot, but I think with the difference between those games, like Final Fantasy has Square Enix behind it, which is massive. They don't have to give a crap about anybody else. You know what I mean? To have something then with like, they don't have to give any, zero. I'm not going to curse because we're not doing that today, but they don't have to because they have so much money and such a huge reputation.
I don't know if I've ever had you curse before, so that'll be new.
versus like Guild Wars 2, where I think that relationship between community and developer can be such a benefit and has shown to be such a benefit. And I think that they would just be doing themselves more of a service to continue to expand it, a la like ESO, which I think is really nailing it with Twitch integrations and content creator stuff, and push it a little bit more. Or like you were saying,
do a good job, yeah. They've got the stream teams stream links on their main website. Yeah, literally embedded. It's actually insane. Yeah, drops are a thing which I'm still not sure about because I've been part of that experience, and it increases viewership, but it doesn't. It's very, yeah, that's an interesting one. We're getting a little bit off the subject of guilds,
but I think drops are a must in the current
market.
Current... Yeah, I think drops are a must, and I don't know the challenges of what it takes to enable drops for Twitch.
Yeah.
There's definitely some good and bad things with drops. I think we could do a whole nother video on that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
there could be a podcast about that.
I guess a way to like bring this all back to the guild discussion would be to say that I think as well, like strengthening those bonds with content creators or with people who are a visual face of the game, like we were talking about, creates a gateway to strengthen the community and then to also get people engaged in various things. So like with guilds, right? Like I do think that like I've heard from what a lot of you were saying, you know, you run those same guild missions a million times, which is great, repeatable content and also community content that you can do live on stream if you want, you know. But if you get super tired of it or you're doing the exact same ones for a million years and then guilds become inactive or stop doing stuff or there's just not as many rewards, right? Like it's a trickle down kind of thing. So I think that like, although not everybody should have to be a part of a guild, that like incentivizing content creators can like promote content, but it can also create community, and then you can reinforce that through a lot of the game systems like guild halls and maybe, you know, working on some more expansion with that.
That was a good link. Hold on. I'm feel supported right now. They're doing. I was just checking the guild because I was gonna look and see if they talked about anything else yesterday. On the Guild Wars 2 channel about. I was talking about supporting streamers and they've got the art show on as well. They do some very unique stuff as well with creators as well. I just want to say that even though we're talking about the more stuff they should do, we do appreciate everything they do for us, and all four of us do believe that. I'm pretty sure that's I can definitely say that we feel quite similarly about that.
ArenaNet, Jebro said all the bad stuff. I'm just going to slide slowly out of frame here.
Hey, I am always critical, but always respectful of everything, every opportunity and everything else. And even though I am critical of the game at times, I know these people in real life. Some of them even went to like events that I've put on in the past in person, and they know that if we're always good. We're always good about the game here. We just talk about the things we want, and we wouldn't talk about it if we didn't love the thing, right? I guess. Lovely, isn't it?
There's definitely a difference between like critique and discussion versus just like piling on a bandwagon and riding it off the cliff into the salt ocean. Like there's so many.
Salt ocean.
That second one was Reddit, right?
Yes, Salt Ocean is Reddit. Correct.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. No, I mean it's amazing community. And like I said, and like you've been saying, Jeb, from everybody that I've ever met, like be they a part of the game, be they a player, there is an incredible passion and there's so much creativity and so much fun there. And like we were saying about guilds, if there wasn't something really cool and unique about them, we would not care at all about seeing it developed. You know what I mean? Like there is really neat stuff that's there, and it's absolutely up to them whether or not they continue to develop it or if they completely develop other stuff. But it was, I think, a good idea at its core. And especially now during quarantine and COVID and everything that's going on, we're seeing more and more people coming into the games who are looking for a true sense of community in an MMO because we may be more separated than ever. So the strength and the power of a community should never be underestimated. And I think it's really up to an MMO how they want to engage with in-game systems supporting that, and then make an extension even outside of the game with their own social medias and community building. And you know, Ruby is a beautiful soul, and she is fantastic. So there's a lot of stuff to already look at and engage with out there if you haven't yet, including the guild chats we were talking about. But There's more that I think
I was
they
gonna
could...
say, like, did you just want to say that Ruby's awesome? Randomly right there. It's like,
Ruby
yeah, I
is
mean, yeah, we can agree.
But I think Ruby's also very down to earth as a community sort of lead, right? And you
Yeah.
know, doing all that she does for the game. There is a sense of Guild Wars caring about its community that is really palpable. So what they continue to do in game to do that, we'll just have to see.
Praise Ruby, yes.
To praise Ruby.
She's been there for a long time. Well, I mean, Guild Wars 2 time. I remember watching Game Breaker TV pre-Inks will remember this as well. Back in the day with her and I don't know if Birdofchess and Mmoinks ever watched this. It used to be a really good organization, Game Breaker TV, where you used to talk about MMOs. Star Wars, the Old Republic, and Guild Wars 2 was, and Guild Wars 2 had the biggest hype behind it, and like Game Breaker was amazing. It was like a big community thing where everyone would watch, and it was like this YouTube video every week, and I think it was live on. I've on some stream somewhere maybe. I don't think was Twitch around. Twitch was around. I think it was Justin TV back then.
Justin TV, yeah.
Yeah. And it was like it was the best, and like Ruby was she was a journalist then, wasn't she? I think she was doing other stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, and Liz, who went to marketing as well, she was, I think she was she MMORPG.com? I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, I say grow up with this game. I was in my 30s when I started playing this. And it's like, even though that's still a thing. I think, you know, I think guilds are an important part of the game that should be looked at and thought about and developed and nurtured. And hopefully the expansion is another place where they can do that. I really feel like that is, you know, the best excuse to bring something in new for that. And hopefully, you know, I think that's another thing, you know, another day, another conversation about Guild Wars 2's next expansion. Features we want thing. Podcast that I will have to do over like 4 episodes. Because that's going to be an easy one to do. We are going to wrap up fairly soon, the next 10 minutes or so. I'm just going to have a look and see if there's anything on my list. Is there anything else you guys wanted to add about guilds that we're like maybe haven't touched upon? I know like guild recruitment is something in the game where games have had that. But Guild Wars 2 doesn't have guild recruitment in game, does it?
Actually, this is very recent. This is very recent. A couple of months ago, in the looking for group tool, they added a guild recruitment section. So because it's so new, not many people are using it, but there is that there.
It is there. Forgot about that completely.
But I get asked a lot on my stream because like I cater a lot to the brand new people, and I get asked a lot like, how do I join a guild? And I'm like, well, if you want more than just mooching off of mine, I'm like, there's this tool, but not many people are using it. I'll put it into the Facebook group. I think there's a guild recruitment subreddit. You know, I try to give them some selection. I'm like, or if you want a World v World guild, just go in there and scream. You'll find one on your server.
Yeah, it's true, because there'll be someone probably recruiting and you just missed the post or something.
It's honestly the best way to find one on your server, because you're only the people on your server hearing you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. I think we're good. Expansion hype. Okay. Really, really excited to see what's going to happen next year with that. I'm hoping for massively awesome things. I'm sure we all are. And we're excited for the stuff. The trailer came out, as well as Steam Guild Wars 2, which is massive. Ridiculously massive. Especially with all the other MMOs that are on there. And if you can play it for free quite easily and link your, sign up easily as well through there, it's going to be even better. There'll be 20k people day one easily who haven't played the game that will play that easily, at least, I recken.
Let us pray for the servers. That's my only concern.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. Well, day one, it's going to be insane day one. It will be. There'll be probably World v World queues, there'll be craziness, there'll be PvP will be a lot more active. There'll be loads of stuff which is more like, lower down. But like even I probably day one, I'm probably going to log in and create a character through Steam. I'm probably just going to do that, like just to see what the experience is and to just stream it. because I like doing that kind of thing, and just be like, right, this is how it is to, you know, go through the launcher and do the things, and you know, and just see how the experience is for the player, because sometimes it's not great through Steam, in all honesty, and Steam login servers for MMOs like ESO sometimes fail massively. So you know, it'll be interesting to see how it works on Steam side of things. But access is a thing, and someone said it earlier in terms of, you know, launches. Some people don't like to have a million launches. Having it on Steam is even more important. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited for that. And there was something about like controller support. I think that someone said recently that Shaman found, or someone did. Wasn't it in the menu? So like maybe even Steam controller support. And I've been saying for a long time, years, how like consoles somehow, if it got onto a console, like it would just be epic. But you know, that's again a unicorn, dragon. Well, maybe not so much dragons because they exist in the game, but you know, moment. But I don't know. There's loads of good stuff, I think, in the future, and it's just good, especially during COVID, to have like some kind of news where you're just like, yeah, there's some cool shit gonna happen, man. Oh. And maybe we'll go outside.
It's nice to look forward to, honestly, and to know that while we're looking forward to everything else that's, you know, coming up, and all the new things that we've gotten, and chat's talking about the skimmer mastery and all the new things, right? It's great to know that there's even more on the horizon, and that we can all kind of just look forward to it and enjoy it when it gets here.
Exactly. Until then, we will talk about it more, hopefully. There will be maybe one more. There's going to be a couple more, well, one more episode. There's going to be more episodes of this, but I'm not sure how often they will be. Again, because school is crazy. Well, it will be crazy again as I start my second year. But yeah, I tried to get these out as much as possible.
if Rook is the host, we could just replace you.
It's true, actually. That is true.
I'll need to shave.
Yes, you need to wear at least a bald cap. At least a bald cap.
No, Jeb, huge congrats on finishing up your first year here. I know that was a massively stressful thing, going back to school and getting all this stuff. So that's amazing. Congrats.
Thank you. I have problems celebrating myself. That's an issue for another time. No, it is tough. It's like, especially like trying to do this stream full-time thing. It's like I can't dedicate myself to doing all the things, which is why I feel bad that these episodes don't come out as often, and I can't do as much stuff everywhere and develop things as much as I want. But stream and this and that at the same time, it's a tough life. But we all have the different things that we do in the world, whether or not it's family, friends, and working, or everything we get through it, right? I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Other than that, I think we're gonna go. I think we're gonna leave it there. I think we're good, people. As ever, I appreciate our epic and amazing guests for coming on, and just talking really about stuff that we enjoy talking about, like this game thing. Yeah, this video game that we like. It's okay, you know, it's all right. Before we go, sell yourselves, people. Inks, I'm going to start off with you because you really want to, you're going to do it. Sell yourself. Tell me, what do you do? Where can people go and watch you, and when you will do the things? You're going to be bringing out some YouTube stuff shortly, soon.
Yeah, I should have a video on, I want to do a video sometime this week on the trailer, obviously, and talk about my hopes and dreams and unicorn things that I want in the game that will never exist. And then twitch.tv/Mmoinks. I stream more Magic the Gathering now than, or Magic the Gathering Arena now, more than Guild Wars 2. But with an expansion, I'll actually have something to play, so I'll be streaming Guild Wars 2 again eventually.
Oh, Inks, I love you, man. Twitter is what? What's your Twitter?
Oh, the Twitter. Oh, jeez, the Twitter debacle. I've lost.
Oh, don't sell it if you don't want it.
Oh, well, no, the Twitter's fine. It's just that I had a Twitter at Mmoinks that got somebody hacked into it and destroyed it and whatever, and Twitter can't fix it. So there goes like 4,500 followers or whatever it was. The new Twitter is at @MO_Inks. because that was the closest I could get to Mmoinks for some reason.
Follow. Go do it, please. Definitely. Good man. Thank you for coming on, dude. Appreciate it very much. Mukluk, tell us the things. What do you do? Where do you do it? You can tell us times as well if you want.
All right.
Time regions.
All right.
Tell us time, tell us the region times.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Stop interrupting. Okay. Mukluk Douglas Bartholomew Reginald Esquire the Fourth here. I stream every single night, over 820 days in a row. If I've got one thing I'm winning on, it is consistency. If you ever want to join me any evening, usually Guild Wars 2, sometimes other things when I need to shill out so that I can afford more ramen packets. I do YouTube videos, usually 3 to 4 a week. Like I said, known for the guides. I'm sure we'll all have links to everyone in our respective videos of this if you're interested in getting you some of that.
The YouTube and the Twitch and all the things.
All the things.
All of the things. In the description, you will see links to everyone's Twitch at the very least, so you can go to their channels and see all their links as well below. So just in case you didn't catch where to follow the people. But again, Marco, thank you very much as well for coming on here. I've never really had an extended conversation with you, and it was a pleasure, sir.
I appreciate the invite. I had never been invited to a podcast, so I was very flattered. I went running to my wife, and I was like, I made it! I made it!
Made it.
Yes! International superstar celebrity sensation. Today.
You need to add that to your title then.
I'll see.
I'll follow your stuff. You can do that. If you can add that, that would be good. Birdofchess. Again. I almost feel as if you're like a co-host on here now to a degree. I think we almost need to probably get that as a thing. Again, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. Tell us about yourself. Where do you do the things? What time do you do them? And all the stuff.
Yes, no, Jeb. I mean, yeah, co-hosting. No, I mean, it was no, I'm kidding. It's so great to be on here with you. And seriously, the fact that you even thought of me in the first place was so wonderful. I've loved becoming a part of the community and getting to know you as well. So thank you. You can find me at twitch.tv Birdofchess. It's all one word, and it's a pun. It's a play on words off of my name, which is Rook. Otherwise, you can also find me at Twitter and Instagram at Birdofchess. We usually are live 4 to 5 days a week in some way, shape, or form. If I'm not broadcasting directly on my channel, you can usually catch me podcasting on other channels that I'll host on my channel. So definitely check it out. Schedules usually go up Mondays or Tuesdays. And like I said, right now, YouTube is also in the works. There's some content that should be coming out here in the next few weeks, which I'm really excited about. As we kind of jump into that, all the support, love, or people who are checking that out will be huge. Because I'm really excited to continue bringing what we do on stream to a different platform and to help sort of connect with a lot of the information that I've gotten or just the fun, good times that we have on stream, both for new players or veteran players to engage with on YouTube as well. So keep an eye on that, and more news will be coming soon. But otherwise, you can pretty much find me at Birdofchess just about everywhere, and I'm always happy to see some new faces. So I'm glad to chat.
Awesome. Again, thank you very much, everyone, for coming on. I will sell myself because, hey, why not? I know you're here live right now, and I appreciate you guys coming out. Twitch.tv/JebroUnity. You can find all the things below the stream. Twitter, everything is Jebro Unity. Yeah, it sounds weird because I'm just Jebro, but that's just the way it is. Because otherwise, you might find a construction company. Oh, don't ask.
At least you're not a shoe.
At least I'm not a shoe. What? Oh, I'll have to ask you about that later.
Me.
Amazing. Amazing.
If you go to YouTube and search Mukluk, it's a shoe company.
Are they good shoes? I don't know. Twitch.tv/JebroUnity. You can find me most days doing all the things. YouTube, Twitter, all the stuff. Guides on PvP and whatnot as well. I do a multitude. I'm a variety streamer. So I hate saying variety streamer, but it's just the best way to describe it. Streaming all the things. But Guild Wars 2 is primarily one of those things that I produce content with. And along with this show called The Lightbringers, which is a podcast which comes out, maybe once a month, maybe once every couple of months, maybe a couple of times a month, depending on what there is to talk about. You can go and find all the information about that. It's all on Anchor, as well as my Elder Scrolls podcast, which is called The New Companions as well. And that'll probably be linked in the description if you fancy going to check out that. Otherwise, we're done. Expansion happy times. Steam happy times. We're out. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. You can wave if you want to. You don't have to, because not everyone's going to see it. If you want to go see the waves, go and check out the YouTube channel, because you can't listen to waving unless you wave really hard. And
We're waving really hard right now. The audio.
Bye, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, and see you soon.
Can we talk about them now?
And they can still hear us.
Oh, crap.
Stream, I'm going to be back in a moment. Just to say goodbye to these guys, and then I'll return. The stream will continue. Don't worry. I was just doing a little bit of a pause for an outro, but Mukluk, the shoe failed. I'll be right back on the stream. Give us a minute.